Hey everyone, it's Pauline and it's Tuesday Talks, and I just wanted to jump in and just chat a little bit about all of what we put into our art. But my Tuesday Talk today is about an aspect of what we put into our art that comes from within, but is really driven by our brain. And I wanted to talk about that because as I have worked with artists over the years, and what's really, really clear to me is how important what we think of ourselves is. And in my journeys, I have noticed that some artists get stuck on not really being very kind to themselves. I don't really like using the word self-talk because I don't really think that we talk to ourselves like that. Like I talk to myself in the studio, but I certainly don't say anything negative to myself. And this hasn't been the case all the time. I have definitely done things in my life to make sure that my trajectory is positive and that my mind is being fed with positive things. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in working with a variety of artists, both in Paint the Way Up, my intuitive composition mentorship, which is called I See Me, in the intuitive composition course that's already run, and bringing new ones into the course that's starting, I run across some people who don't speak very kindly to themselves. They'll talk about themselves in a way that's self-deprecating. And that is just so unkind to oneself. It's unkind, but it's also powerful. And it's powerful in the wrong way. Being an artist is such an amazing journey, but it's also kind of, you got to be brave, risky, and it takes courage. It also takes self-awareness to know yourself and see what you want to share and see what you want to do. But it is kind of like, I don't know, you make yourself vulnerable showing your work, and you might not like it, or maybe you do and somebody doesn't, and then you get feedback, and we're sensitive folks. So it's a journey that requires the utmost care, specifically and particularly from ourselves. So big suggestion when sharing about your work or your thought process or your decisions, careful to be either neutral or positive about how you share about your efforts and how you view what you're doing. For example, I've heard things like, oh, it was a stupid mistake, or I can't get anything figured out. I'm old. I must have dementia, or what I did was just really horrible looking. What a, stupid mess. These things that we say to ourselves, you hear them. Your soul hears them. And that's no way to speak about anyone's art, never mind our own. And so I want to encourage each and every one of you, and I do this with all artists I work with in art nutrition as well, which is a one-on-one. If I catch anyone saying anything nasty about themselves, I'll go, okay, is there another word we can use for that besides something so derogatory? Because I don't want to hear that because I don't believe that about you. So to hear you say that about you, that hurts. Also, I don't think anyone else wants to hear you say things about yourself that is self-deprecating, or even your work that it's, ridiculous or stupid or, you know, what have you. But the most important thing, you don't want to hear it, and neither does your soul. Neither does your soul. Your soul wants to rejoice and be you and explore and express and breathe. And saying things about ourselves that's negative, it doesn't even fit. And so I really want to support you in a mindset and, adjustment, empowerment, so that you cherish what you're doing, you cherish your efforts, you cherish your bravery. You're the only you that there will ever be. And if you're fortunate to have children or grandchildren that love you and will share on about how amazing you are, that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, you live within you, and you are the only person who knows how special, truly special you are. And it's important for you to acknowledge that all of your efforts, even if you try something and you don't like it, it's still amazing because you followed an idea. You stuck with it. You were trying to figure something out, or you were trying something and it didn't work. Or you tried something and then you walked away, and then you came back, and instead of going, "Oh, that was crap. That's crap." Look at it and go, "Wow, okay, so that was a lot of work that I put in. And, kudos to me for sticking into it. Now I'm coming back with a critical mind, and I can see this isn't quite what I was after. It feels too dark, or it feels too light, or it feels not very impactful, or it feels kind of, what's the word I'm looking for when you're not really confident and you're not committed? It doesn't look very committed. So if I see these things now, why don't I approach my next session with these things? So instead of looking at ourselves from a point of shortcomings, look at the things that aren't aligning with the way we want to be in the world as challenges for how, where to go next, right? So that's all I'm going to say about that for a moment. Several years ago, I got in on this whole program given by Anthony Robbins, and really successful guy who had terrible self-talk. And I recall his story was he was in a apartment, and he was overweight, and he didn't have any job, and it was just head is in the toilet with talking negatively about himself. And he just did this whole turnaround, and now he's just this amazing success. And I loved his story, and I read all of his books, which I can't remember the names of now. Something like maybe it was something about, oh, I forgot. Anyway, Anthony Robbins. And he goes around all over the place and does, motivational conventions and stuff. Anyway, I also saw him speak live in Vancouver 10, 12, 14 years ago, I think. Anyway, I did this whole program that I was kind of driving myself after reading his books and seeing him talk and some other things that I was doing. And I started to chip into what I was going to say to myself. And I wrote sticky notes, and I put them all around my apartment, and I moved them around so that they would be fresh. And I would say these messages to myself, but I also started to look at what I wanted in my world and sink into the truth of knowing that I deserved it and saying this within myself as well. I even remember doing a recording on my computer in, oh gosh, I don't know what it was, GarageBand, or this is all, a Mac, a program that comes with your Macintosh. But I did this chat where I said things that I wanted in my world. So, and I would listen to it every morning before work while I was putting on my makeup. So what's beautiful about that is I was looking into my face, into my eyes, while I heard my computer saying it to me, and I would just bring it in. And I was also meditating in the morning too, not very long, while I was doing my leg lifts and things like that, my stretches. But I just said things like, I am a success. I was working for a company, and I remember it was kind of challenging too, because I really didn't feel like it was the right company for me, or they were kind of holding me back. So I was doing these affirmations about, I am worthy of moving forward. I will get that senior designer title. I am proficient. And I would go on, and I would listen to this every morning. And I tell you, when you can hear yourself say these things about yourself, and really you start sinking into this, especially if you're not thinking that you deserve this kind of thing, like success and ease and enjoyment, these things you totally deserve. But if you're saying things to yourself that are contrary to that, then you're actually telling yourself that you don't deserve it, which is making a conflict, which is not then going to attract that toward you. And also, it's not going to fill your heart with the right feeling. And you want to feel good while you're working and how you are living in your own body. So I want that to be the Tuesday talk today, because I've seen a little bit of spatters around here and there, not just here in this group Pave the Way Up. There's not really a lot, actually, but when I even see one, even in an email to me, like, oh, you're much better than me or whatever, don't go there. Don't go there. I'm me, and I want to be me, and I want to keep evolving, and you're you, and you have your own journey and your own aspirations, which you need to reach for, and you need to do the things that are necessary for you to reach for them. And negative talk of any sort is not getting you closer to the goal, because the goal is always happiness. And we know there's plenty of unhappiness in the world, and we will have our unhappinesses too. So best to put all of our energy toward positivity and nurturing our soul and our desires to the best of our ability. So when you do something, even if you don't like the way it looks, give yourself a pat on the back and say, whoa, girl or guy, woo, that was I enjoyed that, but I'm not really digging the way it's where it's at right now. So my next step is I'm going to bring more light into it, or I'm going to bring more contrast, or I'm going to bring more energy, or I'm going to go calm this down. But still always give yourself huge kudos for your efforts, because that you deserve that no matter what. No matter what. If you're making the effort, you deserve the kudo for it. Okay. So I hope you guys found this helpful. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.